That's what this guy said to me. It's like during that summer of apparently something about California, they spread this message that like if we all manifest this idea that we're trying to support almost like Santa Claus in his efforts. We're thinking about this random ass magical idea, right? Of just like a whole year spent like trying to be nice or naughty with Santa Claus in the end, you know what I mean? Either being supported in his own efforts in this, all you doing your effort in bringing Mary to the Chris, not the mouse. Mouse Chris, more Chris, more Chris, more Christ. I don't know. But anyways, spend more Christ, right? So this idea, right? This idea, same idea, but take away Santa Claus to put in a 50-year-old, specifically, this kind of like crone mother that something about like her efforts are peaceful-ish. You know what I mean? Anyways, so Summer of Love, 1967, centered in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury neighborhood. It spilled into Golden Gate Park. It was the peak of the 1960s hippie counterculture movement in California. It built on the earlier roots from the Beat generation of the 1950s, where we had the poets and the writers rejecting conformity. Free speech movement at UC Berkeley in 1964, and growing opposition to the Vietnam War, materialism and mainstream post-World War II American culture as they were continuing to force it down our throats like a Hallmark dream, the Hallmark Channel, of all the marks we're supposed to make and all. But a key spark of January 14, 1967, the Human Be-In, a gathering at the Tribes in Golden Gate Park. Around 20,000 to 30,000 people gathered for music, poetry, psychedelics, and celebration. Timothy Leary famously urged the crowd to turn on, tune in, drop out. By summer, 75,000 to 100,000 young people, mostly teens and 20-somethings, converged on Haight-Ashbury. Cheap rents, proximity to the park, tolerant vibe, and media hype, including Scott McKenzie's San Francisco. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. Drew them in. What? Sounds like I need to freaking play this song eventually. Anyways, moving on. It features psychedelic rock, Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, free love, LSD, and other drugs, communal living, anti-war sentiment, colorful fashion, and spiritual exploration. Eastern influences like Buddhism, Hinduism, and mysticism. Bands like the Grateful Dead, Big Brother, and the Holding Company played. Icons like Allen Ginsberg, Ken Kesey and his Merry Pranksters, Acid Test, and others were central. Even Beatle members George Harrison visited. Utopian vibe, peace, love, expanded consciousness quickly soared. Overcrowding led to poor sanitation, though. Here's where resource shortages, crime, hard drugs beyond psychedelics, exploitation, and violence. By fall of 1967, many originals held a mock death of the hippie funeral. The scene dispersed, though echoes continued in Woodstock of 1969. But the most core participants were young runaways, students, artists, musicians, draft resistors, queer youth, seekers escaping suburban conformative life. Many from across the U.S., especially the Bay Area. Ideals endure but need structure is one of the lessons we learned that day, or days. Peace, love, anti-materialism, environmental awareness, sexual liberation, and questioning authority inspired lasting changes. Yoga meditation that mainstreamed natural foods, ecology movement, civil rights, anti-war activism, personal spirituality. Many practices became normalized. Utopias are fragile. This is the second thing we learned. Without boundaries, free everything led to chaos, addiction, exploitation, especially of women, young people, and burnout. Idealism met human nature, which is greed, predation, like predators, and impracticality. Counterculture integrates into mainstream is the third thing we learned. Elements were co-opted by capitalism, music, fashion, wellness. It showed rebellion can spark innovation, but often fades or evolves. And the broader lesson, consciousness expansion via drugs or otherwise offers insights, but sustainable change requires more than topping out. It needs building wisdom and realism. The woman in her 50s selling peace archetype you mentioned earlier represents this matured version, refining youthful fire into grounded, profitable wisdom after living through the aftermath. It was a brief, intense California bloom. Beautiful, flawed, transformative.